Breakthrough Media.
I'm very concerned. And actually, before I get to middle school, I want to talk about, I talked to you about this plan
Yes,
and
you
what
have.
they're going to do. Now, in this plan I mentioned, they list 29 front Islamic organizations in America.
That's right.
And they focus on every segment of our society. They have organizations set up for media, for public relations, for education, for everything. Everything you can think of. But I'm going to focus on the education part.
Internet, right?
Yeah. This is how they destroy the country, with the education. So they started focusing on college kids. And they started funneling millions of dollars, especially the Saudis, into our universities, setting up Middle East study departments and political science departments, and appointing Arab professors who are anti-Israel and anti-America to basically brainwash the students to believe that Israel is evil, America is bad, and the Muslim world is the oppressed. Here is the extent of the Saudi peddling that has taken place on college campuses, how much money they have given. The King of Saudi Arabia has given $20 million to the University of Arkansas.
Oh, what?
$20 million. $22 million to Harvard University from two Saudi sheikhs linked to Al-Qaeda. $28.1 million to Georgetown. $5 million to MIT. $1.5 million to Texas A&M. $5 million to Rutgers University, $5 million to Columbia University. And I can go on and on. To give you a sample, USC, Santa Barbara, Johns Hopkins University, Duke University, American University, UCLA, Howard University, and I can go on and on.
All throughout the country.
They are pumping millions into our university, brainwashing our students. This is why people ask me, Brigitte, why is the media so biased? And I tell them, why are you concerned? Because for the last 20 plus years, those students who have been now graduating out of our universities have been fed a steady diet of hate and resentment against America. Those students now are the news anchors, the news reporters, the news writers, the opinion shapers, the policy makers. And you wonder why we're losing our country? We don't have a commander-in-chief right now. We have an apologizer-in-chief who never misses an opportunity to apologize for America. That's why. And that's only on college campus. The system worked, the plan worked so well on college campus, so they decided, why wait until the kids get to college? Why don't we start with them in middle school, in 6th and 7th grade? So, the Islam Project, which was founded in 1991, remember this plan was written in 1991, 10 years prior to September 11th. While we were asleep, not paying attention, this is the plan that they wrote and they began implementing. So in 1991, the Islam Project was launched to teach children in middle schools and high schools about Islam. And they introduced this plan, this curriculum about Islam. It was a 3-week course to teach students how it's like to be a Muslim, adopt Islamic names, go to a mosque for a trip, for the students to become Muslim. And when I started speaking about this, people would say to me, and I detail this in my book, by the way, They Must Be Stopped, my second book. And people would say to me,
please
Brigitte,
order the set of books and read it yourself. Don't take anybody. This lady has been there.
Yes.
We have, as I said, I've lost a station already because they said, we don't want you talking about infiltration of churches.
Look at the 38 Brothers in Boston. You don't even need to walk into a church.
Yeah.
You can stand on the side of the road at a marathon. So for people to think we don't have the enemy within in any place where we have large crowds, they're fooling themselves. Since September 11th, you cannot show up to a baseball game. You cannot show up to any major gathering of people where they will have more than a few thousand people without security, whether it's a church or not. So Christians don't feel too special. You're not the only one singled out. Everybody is singled out. But when you look at mega churches, because they are mega churches where they have, thousands of people at a time, it's just like going into a place where any gathering where they will have a few thousand people at a time that are under attack.
Right.
And that is here. And this is the thing we need to be concerned about. But you know what? That's only the physical threat we're talking about. This threat of education I'm talking about
Yes,
has been going
yes.
on for 20 years and no one's paying attention because it's not a bomb blowing. Do you know that your children in public schools have been studying this Islam course since, here we go, since 1991? Since 1991, your little Johnny and Sally have been taking this course, which started in California, to teach them about what it's like to be a Muslim. And I'm just going to read you a few examples of this course to show you about the cultural war that's going on that we're not paying attention to. We're worried about somebody walking in and blowing us up. Well, you know, the Islamists did not take Europe by blowing it up. They took Europe by coming in as guest workers starting in the 70s and sabotaging the culture. And look at Europe today. It has become Eurabia.
Yeah.
They didn't know to blow things up. And that's what's happening here right now.
How many knew what she's saying was going on in the schools like that? How many did not know it till right now? Look at, wave your hand. This is how many did not know. What a member of my staff is saying she was taught in San Francisco area, in her grade school, right?
Yes, in 7th and 8th grade.
In 7th and 8th grade as well.
I know.
It's already happened, people.
It has. It's shocking.
That if the grid goes down, 95% of America is dead within 1 year. And no one's running on that platform. I know Ben
Carson.
Carson
Yes. Dr. Carson.
has warned us at times. We had Governor Huckabee on the show. He told us that the greatest threat to America was the grid coming down, and that it would kill 95% of America's people. Would you champion to fix this grid?
It has to be a priority for America for this reason. It would literally shut down not just our comfort of life, but life itself. You couldn't make transactions. Think about all the people in a hospital. If you truly lose power, and I'm not talking about losing it for a day or two, but lose the transmission system, which if there were an electromagnetic pulse, which is a blast that could be well over the atmosphere, so it's not like a nuclear device hitting the earth, it just happens above the power grid. It fries everything electronically. You can't make a cell call, you can't go to an ATM, gas pumps don't work, your lights don't work, the power that normally would pump even gas to your house doesn't work, water doesn't work, the water filtration systems don't work, you can't process food, you can't cook food unless you have wood. A lot of people perhaps in this area would be able to live off the land. It's one of the reasons I say don't get rid of your guns. It may be the only hope you got.
That's right.
But the truth is, it would be that almost 95% of the country would likely die. And again, what you said is true. This is not some, cuckoo saying it.
This is such an important issue because we are, remember in their plan how they said they want to sabotage us from within
Yes.
and destroy our hands by our own hands? That's exactly what they're doing. This is the cultural jihad that's been going on and raging through our country that we're not paying attention to. It's easy to focus about, they want to walk in and blow us all up.
Right.
But people are not paying attention to the insidious threat of jihad growing
There it is.
in our schools. But to give you an idea of what they talk in this thing, this is a course, by the way, this is an educational course for the teacher that she has to follow to educate the children. So this is a course where students have to learn about Islam. It's a 3-week course. The teacher starts the course by saying, from the beginning, you and your classmates will become Muslims. You will be a member of a caravan. So the kids are already introduced that, okay, now for the next 3 weeks, you're going to be a Muslim. The teacher continues saying that dressing as a Muslim and trying to be involved will increase your learning and enjoyment. Finally, trying your best at all tasks will guarantee you an excellent grade and a more enjoyable time. So the teacher is already dangling the grade carrot in front of the students to kind of encourage them to get with the program. And here's a very important page. This is what they call wisdom cards. This is like the cue cards to memorize the Islam lesson. And I'm going to read you one card because it talks about jihad. Because obviously when you hear about Islamic terrorist organizations, they're called Islamic Jihad, Al-Mujahideen, any suicide bomber who blows himself up, they always talk about jihad. But here's what they're teaching our little Johnny and Sally in public schools about jihad. A jihad is a struggle by Muslims against oppression, invasion, and injustice. Now, if these words sound familiar to you, it's because this is what Al-Qaeda, every time they issue a press release against America, or ISIS, what do they say? We are fighting injustice. We are fighting oppression. We are fighting occupation. When Palestinian suicide bombers blow themselves up, what do they say? We are killing ourselves because we are fighting oppression and injustice. So basically what we're doing right now is teaching our children the talking points of our enemies paid for by our tax dollars in our public schools. And by the way, the word jihad is mentioned 40 times in the Quran, 36 times out of 40 as a holy war against the infidels to either kill them or subjugate them. That's what they're teaching. But here's the kicker. I know I'm talking to Christians, so I must use this example. Here's what the children have to recite in the school about Islam. They have to recite the Islamic salvation prayer and become Muslims. It's called the Shahada, which is the equivalent of our prayers when we accept Jesus. Lord, I accept you as my Christ and Savior, come into my heart, etc.
Yes.
This is what our little Johnny and Sally in public schools have to recite as they're part of their Muslim program. Praise be to Allah, Lord of creation, the compassionate, the merciful, King of judgment day. You alone we worship, and to you alone we pray. Guide us onto the straight path, the path of those whom you have favored, which is the Muslims. Not those who have incurred your wrath, which is the Jews, nor of those who have gone astray, which is the Christians and the Muslims. I'm talking to a Christian audience right now. This is what our children are being taught to do in public schools. And do you know that once a child recites this and becomes a Muslim, if he converts back to Christianity as an adult, he is considered an apostate because he already converted to Islam? This is how they are teaching Islam in our public schools today. Can you imagine if you, Pastor Jim, walked into a classroom in any public schools in the U.S., 8th and 9th grade, and taught that, you'd be thrown in jail.
Yes.
The ACLU would be screaming to high heaven. Here's a quick example, and this is the last example I'm going to use, of a homework that the students are given as a homework. Become a Muslim warrior during the crusade or during an ancient jihad. Explain weapons, tactics, etc. That's homework. Homework to your children. To see themselves as a Muslim warrior during an ancient jihad. They want them to explain weapons and tactics, etc. That's homework for students in middle school. For those of you who are watching right now, by the way, this course is no longer just taught by itself. This course now is weaved into all history books and all social studies books in middle and high schools. As a matter of fact, for students to pass the SLA testing, to pass into college, the 18 questions of that test is out of this course.
My God.
For you to read what this course is about on our website, actforamerica.org, and you must go to actforamerica.org today and sign up to get our information. We issued a report called Education or Indoctrination, the Treatment of Islam in 6th through 12th grade American textbook. This is the executive summary. And our chapters, which made our parents, put pressure in Texas on the publishers to change the textbooks. They organized and they were able to pressure the publishers this year for the books coming out in 2015 and 2016 with all the corrections that Act for America wanted in these books. And we want to do this nationwide. So if you are watching and you are concerned about this issue, go to our website, actforamerica.org, and send us an email that you want to join the textbook groups. We're mobilizing parents nationwide, even if you're not a parent, but you want to be involved in the reform of the textbooks. Go to our website, actforamerica.org, and sign up. That's what you can do to make a difference for your country.
That's excellent.
You have said that you believe cultural jihad is more dangerous than even the bombs.
That's how you change a society. You know, Hitler made a very important statement. Hitler said, "Give me the children and I will change society in 10 years."
Yeah.
And that's exactly what he did. This course was introduced in American public schools nationwide, including private schools, because they ordered the books from the same publishers. In 1991, that was over 20 years ago, almost 25 years ago, a quarter of a century. This is why today you see young Americans who loathe America, who are embarrassed of America, who apologize for America.